Who saw that coming? Certainly not many of the reviewers who are usually privy to all things Nikon. Even Morton Hilmer, apparently. Anyway, big surprise, not only to regular Nikon customers. The NIKKOR 600mm f6.3 VRS lens is the latest addition to Nikon's industry-leading lineup that now, with this edition, includes no less than 5 super telephoto lenses, not counting the 180 to 600mm f5.6 to 6.3 VR zoom and 100 to 400 f4.5 to 5.6 zoom. Here's my take on the state of Nikon's lens lineup in late 2023. We have the 400mm f4.5 VRS. I bought that. Fabulous little big lens. More on that later. The incredible 400mm f2.8 TC VRS with built-in 1.4 times teleconverter. I can't afford that. The 600mm f4 TC VRS, ditto, and ditto, the 800mm f6.3 VRS PF lens, and now this 600mm f6.3 VRS, also a phase Fresnel lens. I first want to address the claim that f6.3 is not ideal for wildlife and sport shooting in early morning or evening light. Well, aside from the fact that all mornings and evenings are not created equal, I regularly shoot in the early morning and towards sunset in the autumn in southwestern British Columbia here, where it's often cloudy and rainy, with my Z 400mm f4.5 VRS lens using the 1.4 times TC attached. And that means that maximum aperture of f6.3. And I also use the 2 times TC, resulting in a maximum aperture of f9. And yes, that means the ISO often tops 6400, sometimes by quite a bit. As I say, I can't rationalize the 400mm f2.8 TC. That's $18,200 in Canada. At the risk of repeating myself here, I'm not a bird or wildlife photographer for that matter, though I do really enjoy going down to the river here, it's 5 minutes away, to photograph bears, otters, seals, and whatever other critters turn up. It's a relaxing challenge from the demands of commercial photography, so I do have a bit of experience juggling those parameters that all photographers come across at some point. But here's the thing. From my point of view, experience, and use case, today I can add the TC 1.4 times to the 400 4.5 with no discernible loss of IQ. Again, I'm pretty happy with images made even with the 2 times TC. That certainly wasn't the case with the F-mount TC20E3. I own that. In fact, I still do. And compared results on this channel with the old AFS 70 to 22.8 and the new ZTC 2 times on the Z 70 to 200 VRS. The ZTCs are in a class of their own. And really the only practical downside is you have to pull them out of your bag and attach them. So yeah, I love the convenience of those 400 and 600 TC beauties, along with the extra light gathering goodness without the TC engaged of 2.8 and f4. Like, who wouldn't? Finally, when it comes to those high ISO settings that we often encounter, the other advancement that we enjoy, we are literally talking light years in terms of what was possible a short time ago. That's twofold, both how well sensors perform and the post-processing noise reduction that we have. We have AI noise reduction plugins from, say, Topaz Labs, for instance, and just a few months ago, integrated into Lightroom, which, incidentally, that's my go-to option now. It's so easy to use rather than making a round trip through a plugin. So, who is this 600mm f6.3 PF lens for? Well, me, for one. I'd love this in my cupboard, and I would take it out often. Without delving into all the specs, this is, of course, an FX full-frame S-line lens, weather-sealed, So you can throw dirt at it, though I'm not recommending that. All kinds of programmable function buttons and a programmable function ring, focus position recall function, 6 stops image stabilization on a camera that supports synchro VR like the Z9, and 5.5 stops faster on all other Z series cameras. All the latest coatings to combat flare and fingerprints, ED, extra low dispersion glass, shortwave refractive to control chromatic aberration, and that also helps keep the build compact, fast, and accurate. Stepping motors drive the focusing, and that's internal focusing, by the way. One spec that isn't particularly impressive is the minimum focus distance of 4 meters or 13.13 feet. Regular 95mm filter thread. And incidentally, if you check out my 400 f 4.5 review, I demonstrate there how it's possible to step down from 95mm to 85 or 82mm without any visible vignetting. And I'm assuming the same would hold true for the 600mm. Now, about phase Fresnel PF lens elements. These are related to the kind of elements we associate with lighthouse lenses that concentrate and amplify light. Here, as Nikon says, they effectively compensate for chromatic aberration and ghosting when combined with ordinary glass lens elements. Utilizing a phase Fresnel lens element allows Nikon engineers to use fewer lens elements, resulting in a more compact and lightweight lens. And they sure delivered on that. It's just 11 inches or 278mm long. It weighs just 1,470 grams, including the tripod collar, 1,390 without, compared to the 400 4.5, which is 1,160 grams without tripod collar, 1,245 grams with the collar. That's pretty amazing. If I add the TC 1.4 times, that's another 220 grams to get me to 560 millimeters and 6.3. So total weight of 1,465 grams with a 2 times TC, that's 270 grams extra. And my calculator pegs that at a total of 1,515 grams to get me to 800 millimeters. And a penalty of maximum f9. Whichever way you look at it, this 600, it's really a marvel of engineering and optical advancements. Price-wise, I think it's reasonable for something like this at $4,799.95 US. Now that's not pocket change here in Canada, where it lists as $6,499. Consider the 400mm 4.5 cost me $4,200 Canadian. Still not chump change. The TCs are over $700 a pop too. Add tax and I don't even want to think about it. So no, I don't see this latest offering turning up in my cupboard anytime soon. Why did Nikon add yet another super telephoto to the already pretty complete super tele lineup? I haven't a clue. Certainly I have no privileged insight into what they have planned. But I guess they do know their market, and the wildlife sports segment seems to be very important. Personally, I'd have been more excited to hear more about that single lens left on the soon-to-be retired lens map, the 35mm, whatever it turns out to be, f1.2, we presume so. I'm probably in no better position to buy it either. I'm guessing it'll be priced similarly to the 85mm f1.2 or 135mm f1.8 Plena, but given the choice, that's where my money would go. Will we see it before the year ends? I hope so, even though it'll be painful if I can't afford it. So yeah, Nikon kept this one under wraps, it seems. A real October surprise. There are, however, a couple of good hands-on reviews out there. For instance, check out Jan Wegeners, if I'm pronouncing that right. Check his channel for lots of good bird-centric shots. And tell me what you think. Is this a lens that you'd consider buying? Affiliate link in the description if you want to support this channel at no extra cost to you. Finally, is f6.3 no good for lower light shooting? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video offered any insight, please do give it the old thumbs up. And if this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing for more of my content. We'd love to see you again. and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. In the meantime, take care, cheers, and we'll see you later.